Hello and welcome back to Camp Ash. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is I believe we were gonna go looking for Ernesto next. We found Dale, and unfortunately for him, his tail was very badly damaged. It was less furry. Um, Duke had to wrap it up in bandages using Dale's shirt. And as for now, it's okay, but like he's visibly distressed and he kind of snapped at. Oh no, that hasn't happened yet. Never mind. Um, but yeah, he is not happy. And hopefully, finding Ernesto might make him happy because, it kind of seems like he is his destined person. I mean, when Ernesto's not with Miriam, he's with Dale. So, like, yeah. We also have to look for Trisha too. So far, it kind of seems like maybe this is a route about keeping people alive. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. But yeah, there seems to be some sort of witchy, culty stuff going on. So yeah, I wonder how that's gonna develop and then end or whatever. Also, hopefully the ambience thing that I will add is not too distracting or too annoying, but like it was either that or use one that is used in the smoke room, but I don't know if I would be able to use it. And I didn't feel like asking Square Boy, so yeah. Anywho, so anyways, you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyways, so without further ado, let us finish out the Miriam route. I close my eyes and listen for the masculine scream of the wind. It's easier with less voices now. He's far to the northwest, almost directly between the two cardinals. Miriam pulls out her compass and closes her eyes. If I remember the map right, the river bends around there, before the waterfall. We can check out the deep corner bend and go from there. Are we gonna make it on time? Let's get going before Dale passes out. Sorry, everyone. I walk up to the otter to rub his back, letting him know that he's okay. But when I place my paw on his back, he flinches away, turning to look at me with his eyes wide. Hey, you okay, man? Do I look okay, Bronson? The hike is long and hot. We backtrack our way back to the path before turning off into the woods again, this time towards the river. It isn't uphill or as dense, but I feel like we're lost most of the time. Miriam ensures us everything is right according to her compass, but I can't shake the feeling that we're headed into something just as messed up as with Dale. There's more of those arches now. Twigs, stone, and sinew dot the trees along the path, even the off-beaten one. I'm tempted to go around them, but I don't want to slow anyone else down. We already have to keep stopping for Dale and his tail. The sound of the river eventually drowns out the constant hum at the very least. The bend is around here, just around this hill and brush. Should we be quiet, in case there's more people there hunting him? I don't think that it matters. We're gonna have to stop them anyways. Are we up to it? It's been so hot now and we don't have any water. I'm barely holding on. Dale only looks at me, the otter practically panting as he continues to carry his tail in one of his paws. I just want him to be okay. Maybe we can get the others easier if he's not too injured, you know? I just don't want Janice to be going through something like that. Dale, Janice is... Should I let Miriam tell Dale the truth? Yeah, don't interrupt. Janice is dead. We found her first, tied up. It was too late, though. She was... No, we're not sure what happened, but she wasn't cut up. Dale manages to stifle his crying at the very least. I don't blame him. It should be right here. Miriam turns the corner, leading our group on the hike. Oh God! She yells before I can see, taking off in the same direction that she was headed. I follow after her as fast as I can, Duke and Dale disappearing behind me. Ernesto is tied up in a rock in the same X shape, his wrists and ankles bound by the same wire to rocks on the ground around the stone slab. He's shirtless and covered in bruises and scrapes. A knife sits embedded into his abdomen, a trickle of red blood staining his cream belly fur. The wolf's eyes are closed. Ernesto! Ernesto's eyes creak open slowly, the wolf cocking his head at an odd and slow angle, eyes bleary. He looks around, he squints in the sunlight, roasting his exposed body. A smile breaks over his beaten face, a trickle of blood escaping his mouth as he spots us. Dale? Where the hell have you been, chulo? Ernesto cracks a stupid joke, his face wincing in pain as he tries to keep his composure. What the fuck happened to you? I can explain later. Please just get this shit out of me. The wolf looks down towards a knife embedded into his stomach. There is a clean cut and only one stab wound. I guess we weren't too late. Miriam is going about undoing Ernesto's wire ties. I help her out as Duke is looking at the knife, trying to figure out the best action to take. Dale sits down next to the wolf, the two leaning into each other's snouts. They whisper a few words to each other before Dale shows Ernesto his tail. Yeah, some crazy shit happened to me too. It hurts like a bitch. Shit, you were awake for all of that too? Yeah, pretty sure that I'm gonna feel that in my dreams for a while, to be honest. Shit, whatever is happening is really ripping us apart. Miriam and I finish undoing Ernesto's wrist bindings. The wolf brings his arms down, letting them rest as he tries to wiggle his fingers and bend his elbows to get feeling back into them. Ugh. This sucks almost as much as the fucking knife. You got something worked out, Duke? I can't be sure, but from what I can see, just like this, if we pull it out, you shouldn't bleed to death. At least not right away. That's somewhat reassuring. I can't really do anything about the internal injuries, even if we were back at the nurse's station and I had access to actual sterile equipment. But I can patch up your skin alright, at least until we get somewhere better. Do you think me moving around with the wound inside will be okay? We don't have any other option, if I'm being honest. Figured that you'd say that. Ernesto sits upright, grimacing in pain as a knife turns at an angle as the wolf sits upwards. Fuck, that hurts. What are you doing, dumbass? Ernesto, just stay still. We can. Ernesto responds by gripping the knife in his paw. Here we go. He takes a deep breath, closing his eyes and bracing himself. Oh God. Ernesto pulls the knife out with both paws, the blade clinging to the floor a moment later, the stone bouncing off the crude and discolored metal. Ah! Ernesto cries out as a small gush of blood escapes the wound, staining the stone below us. You idiot! Lie back down so I can patch you up. Fuck. Okay. That hurt more than I thought. Why did you do that? You guys were talking too long. I couldn't waste any more time. Duke produces some first aid supplies from his pocket and starts to poke around the wound. Ernesto continues to wince in between sentences and words. Can you tell us what happened? After last night, the wolf glances towards Dale for a half second. After I went to bed in the staff cabin, I don't remember much of anything. He shakes his head in negative, like trying to swat away ideas running through his system. I think I remember a dream. There was a woman in a tall black dress. Now that doesn't sound like a dream that you have. She was really old and ugly. I don't remember seeing her face though. Ernesto rubs his paws together. There. Done. Enough. Duke finishes patching Ernesto up, the wolf limping his way to his feet. She told me something, like whispered it into my ear, about how it was time to start the cycle again, that I had to play my part. What the fuck? The next thing you know, I wake up here, the sun beating down on me and tied to that damn thing. What happened after that? Where did the knife come from? Well, whoever did that left me there cooking in the sun for a long time. I felt like I was going to die just being there. But not too long ago, actually a few people wearing robes showed up from the forest. Robes? Like the clan? Kinda. But they were wearing brown robes, not those white ones. Plus, they didn't speak English or Spanish for that matter. Could you tell what it was? It was old, is what I could mostly tell. It sounded like bits and parts of it made sense, but only fractions of words. That is so messed up, man. That's not even the bad part. The next thing that I knew, they were all on me, hitting and tearing at me. One of the guys ripped off my shirt in the process. They didn't do, well, anything else at least. Not other than stabbing me and walking away right after. This whole day is bullshit. I can't make sense of any of it. Was there anything else? Just you guys coming and untying me. I hope you're not blaming us. I'm not an asshole like you, Weasel. Tch. Plus, I can see Dale is missing his fucking tail. If you guys were fucking with me as a joke, that would be a bit fucking much. At least you keep your head on straight. So, what are we doing next? I really think that I need some water and food after all that. We have to go to Trisha next. There's no time for anything else. Can I have some river water then? I don't think that I care about the bugs and fish poop at this point. Only if you're gonna boil the water, or if you want to shit yourself to death before you bleed to death from the stab wound. But Dale and Chip drink the shit all the time when they were going swimming. Hell, he went swimming the other day. Isn't that dangerous? Drinking mouthfuls of it, especially while injured and on an empty stomach, is much more different than getting only a few splashes in your mouth, especially with how much we drank afterwards. Otters have a bit of a resistance to that kind of stuff too, you know, 'cause we used to live in the river and all that. Guess you have a point. Well, we don't have to figure out who's next, just where they are. You guys decide between Jan and Trish already? How did you find her? I close my eyes again and listen for the static. It's harder out by the river. She's directly to the east. That's our direction then. Let's get going. The trip is much harder this time. There's 2 injured people, and we're all starting to get dehydrated now. The sun is directly above us. It must finally be after 12 p.m. It'll start to cool down in a few hours at least, but I can barely feel myself think with how oppressive the heat is right now. There's just that low, constant hum. We follow the river most of the way. I'm tempted to jump in to cool off, but figure that it won't be fair to Dale and Ernesto, who can't expose their injuries anymore. We pass a stone bridge to the waterfall, heading further along with the river and deeper into the forest. The river eventually bends up towards the mountain. Miriam continues on into the woods deeper though. At least there's more shade here. I've completely lost track of the ability to tell time, but at some point Miriam starts to slow down, spreading her arms perpendicular with the ground to signal us to slow down. We crowd around her as the Gila takes a deep breath. There is a clearing just a bit ahead. She's probably up there. Are you okay, Miriam? Trisha and I are closer than Miriam and me. I know she means a lot to you. I just hope that she's okay. Let's find out then. Together? Yeah, together. We step together into the clearing. Oh God, don't look at me. I step back a moment later, Miriam holding her arm back up for the others to stop. Trisha? Trisha was suspended in the air in an X like the others. Trisha, it's us. Can I go to help? Just you, no one else. She's hanging naked in the air. Her clothes are scattered around the floor beneath her. Oh God, please, everyone stay back. The sheep is crying. Her voice is inconsolable as Miriam tries to get her to calm down. Did they? There are markings written in purple along her body. It accentuates her nipples and feminine region, like painting a pathway or a trace a lover would draw with her fingers along someone's form. There's what looks like an infinity symbol below her navel, the only part not connected to the rest of the patterns running along her breasts to her thighs. Shut up and get me down. What the fuck is going on? Duke whispers it to me. She's tied up like the rest of you were. So what? They stripped her before they put her up there. Fuck. Is she okay? I don't know. I couldn't tell. My mind races with all the possibilities that could have happened to her. This is so fucked up. At least stabbing me against the rock makes sense with guys in robes. Sweetie, I can't get you undone by myself. It's too high. More of those twigs and rocks in repeated patterns line the floor and tree line. I don't care. No one is coming near me like this. Please. Maybe Chip? He's a friend. You fucking floozy. I'd rather die than let him see me again. Trisha's shouting was a little clear from behind the vegetation, separating us from the clearing. I'm not leaving you to die here. Call Janice to help. She's not with us now. Who's there then? Everyone but Janice. Dale. Call Dale. Dale, and only Dale. Can you come help with this? Dale's face flashes red, the elder forcing himself to not wring his skin tail in nervousness. Makes sense. Why him? The same reason Ernesto called him Chulo earlier. I don't know what that means. Then why not me? Admitting it, Wolf? There's no fucking time for games, Weasel. You got me there. I'm coming. Dale waddles out into the clearing, using his paw to cover his field of view above, head held down so he's only looking at the ground. Miriam follows after him. It's quiet for a few minutes, the trio only talking in whispers. The wind blows just a bit warmer as the three of us wait. Trisha cries a few times, not out of pain, but what sounds like embarrassment or defeat. Before long, Dale fumbles back from the clearing, his face sullen and looking at the ground again. Is she okay, Nutria? She's not hurt like you and me. Thank God. We sit in silence waiting for the pair to return. Miriam leads the sheep out from the clearing, the pair joining us onto our makeshift seats on a few rocks left in a semicircle. There are tear streaks down Trisha's face and her eyes are red, but she looks calmed down by now. Only the tips of a few of the swirling patterns are visible with her clothes on. I'm not going to talk about it, so don't ask me. No one responds. We sit there for a bit longer, regaining our composure as a group as the day starts ever so slightly to dip into evening. Is it time we find Janice soon? I've been more and more worried about her after seeing that they're doing more than just torturing us. Trisha winces. Chip, I think we need to tell everyone. Oh boy, here we go. Tell us what? Everyone's looking at me, everyone except for Miriam. It's suffocating. Janice didn't make it. She's the first one that we found this morning. She was tied up like you guys, but she was gone already. They're all looking at me, mouths wide in shock. Every single time that we found one of you, it just kept playing in my mind over and over again that you guys weren't going to be there. Not all of you. Why didn't you tell us? Or me? I don't know. Chip? Because there's enough weird shit going on and we're already running out of time. We haven't told you more than you need to know. Then why don't you start? Because you don't want to know. Trisha brings her hooves to the side of the rock that she's on, covering her face with her knees as she wraps her arms around each of her legs. What do you mean that you don't want to know? It seems like most of you know what's going on and aren't telling us. This doesn't really seem fair. I'm not sure what's going on fully, at least. Just those three. It's only a guess. But it's lining up with what I was thinking on the way here. I figured that's what you noticed. Well, I'm sure of it. What are you talking about? The three of them remain silent. If Janice isn't alive, can we go back to the camp? I'm pretty sure Ernesto and I need some more medical attention than we got. Maybe you can explain to us on the way? We're not gonna make it back to camp. Why not? Nightfall is gonna happen before then, and once it does, everything is going to go to shit. We ran out of time. Then start explaining, now. If that's what you want. Please. About 100 years ago, Miriam is cut off by the sound of static. It's grown more intense, now deafening and everywhere, no longer confined to the back of our skulls. It's pounding and loud, screaming in our ears. We're all brought to our knees or swept off our feet, falling out of the makeshift seats and forced to roll on the ground. My paws cover my ears, but the sound doesn't get any quieter until it stops, all at once. No. No. We had more time. Fuck. What the hell was that? My ears feel like they're gonna bleed. I can barely stand, my vision blurring from the pain. A horrid screeching sound echoes all around us, like sheet metal folded onto itself 100 times, like thousands of twigs being smashed apart by rocks all at once. Run! Trisha takes off into the forest, not bothering to look back towards us. Duke is after her, and a moment later, bolting past us before I can fully stand up. Miriam grabs my paw and pulls me up, dragging me away in the same direction the others were headed. Don't look behind us, Chip. Oh my god. Dale looks past Miriam and I into the forest behind us. He pukes, not bothering to run as Ernesto starts a pained limp following us. Fuck this shit. Even Ernesto doesn't stop to help Dale up. I try to pull away from Miriam to help Dale, but she doesn't relent, only holding my paw tighter. Chip, come on. There's no time. I look back, unable to just let go of Dale like that. There was a woman in a dress standing above Dale's prone form. I can only see the edges of her dress poking out from behind a thick tree Dale had fallen next to. She's impossibly tall, past anything a sapient can reach, even a giraffe. Her head is obscured by a cloak along with twigs and branches from the tree. She's kneeling down, extending a smoky black paw out to Dale. The otter is cowering on the floor, an upturned paw feebly defending himself. Don't look! The woman's paws make contact with Dale's tail, and Dale's entire body turns inwards, his flesh and fur pulling into itself in a single agonizing second. A discordant scream only muffled by his organs swapping places with the outsides and flopping onto the ground, a moment later separated and distinct in grotesque piles of viscera. The woman stands up again and tilts her head towards us. I make sure to look away before I can see her face. My steps become lighter and my muscles tense in strength, my body no longer aching or tired as my running speed picks up. I'm pulling Miriam behind me a few moments later, our paws still connected. She does her best to keep up with me, and I only slow down once I hear her panting behind me. We pass Ernesto just a bit longer, the wolf limping from his injuries still. We have to help Ernesto. Fuck. I'm sorry. Miriam and I let go of each other's paws and each go to one of Ernesto's side. He lifts his arms up just high enough for us to put our heads under. The wolf puts an arm around each of our shoulders. We support most of his weight as the three of us hurry on after the others. It's much harder to run with the wolf with us, but he's moving faster than limping along by himself. Terrible creaks and cracks follow behind us. The shadows of the forest floor grow and distort at impossible and contradicting angles as we scurry back into the forest, heading any direction but behind us. What do you do? How do we make it stop? We just have to make it through the night. I can't run that long. It's not even night yet. The static is roaring up again, threatening to deafen us and send us toppling to our knees. The density of the idols and rock formations start to intensify as we continue our run down the forest. We have to avoid them as they become pitfalls now, strung up low from the canopy. Walls of sinew and twigs start to block us off, like we're getting corralled deeper and deeper from where we want to go. But we can't fucking stop to think about it. My lungs are starting to give out and my legs are starting to stiffen and slow down. We've been moving all day. I can't just keep pushing my body in more and more, especially without any food or water. I can tell Miriam's starting to give out too, probably because she has to keep holding up more and more of Ernesto by herself. I know that she has more stamina than me. But I can't just leave the wolf to deal with that thing chasing us. The space in front of us is starting to shimmer and bend. Light from the fading sun seems to angle away as a ball of darkness and shadow seems to grow out of nothing. Look out! It's in front of us now. There was a clear, open path, a straight line forward, but the ball of distorted light suddenly shifted to and darted behind a tree. And then she was there, her long limbs and tattered robe sticking out just behind the trunk of a rotten and dead tree trunk in front of us. It looks like it was hit by lightning long ago. This feels like some kind of fucked up setup. The woman reaches out an arm towards the tree, the appendage bending more than just her elbow, reaching up and down like a vine, crushing the surface of the bark in intricate patterns. A black and darkened paw with twisted and rotten fingernails opened slowly before closing into a pounded nail aimed directly at Ernesto. What do we do? The light continues to bend and turn from her location, night seemingly spreading out from her presence like a plague on the forest. Grr! Ernesto clenches his arms around our necks as he buckles his knees. What are you doing? He's in pain. Ernesto slides his arms off of us, falling to the floor as he grips his stomach with both paws. It hurts! It hurts! Ernesto? Something inside of me, He's interrupted from an explosion in his abdomen. Black bile erupts from the stab wound, erupting in all directions and destroying his entire midsection. His body is cleaved into uneven halves. The wolf's legs fall limply as his torso spasms and twitches. The bile starts to sizzle. The ground where it lands begins to smoke and burn. Ernesto's flesh starts to do the same, the wolf convulsing in pain for a few moments as the bile burns up his remaining body. His screams rattle around in my head for a few seconds. He's left alive. Miriam drags my paw away as I finally stop just staring at him. The last thing that he sees is my eyes tearing away from him and leaving him there, alone. Just fucking run, kid. That hasn't happened before. It's never been so clear. And it's definitely never tried to help me. In fact, it's happening more often than normal. A loud static hits us with another wave, sending the two of us to our knees as it washes over our bodies for a moment, only to be replaced by the normal hum, turned up even louder than before. Oh my god! I can barely hear Miriam over it now. I can't fucking move! Is this what it's like for you guys in Echo? It's so loud that I can barely hear myself think. Miriam has to shout to get her voice over the booming and droning hum. No, this is different. It's never been like this. There's never been pain in my ears from it, and the instant part is never this intense. I help the Gila up with my paws, the two of us completely turned around in the forest now. We stand there for a few moments, looking around us, trying to find a way forward. Barely even noticing that the sun has set and shadows cast from the moonlight are dancing around us. Like devils. That's when Duke comes sprinting at us full speed. The weasel notices, coming to a skid, halt in the dirt just a few inches from us. How did you get in front of me? His face is distorted into disgust and fear. We didn't. We got turned around and... Trisha practically crashes into us from behind, barely stopping on her hooves a second later. How did you get in front of me? Fuck. What's going on? I ran in a straight line away from whatever the fuck that noise was. And I did my best to follow you after you passed me. And we ran into each other? Just like on the way up here. When did it get so dark? I wasn't running for hours, was I? Time and space aren't making any sense again. Just like that mountain. Where's Dale and Ernesto? They didn't make it. Oh my god. Trisha falls to her knees, covering her face with her paws. We have to get away from here. That thing is following us still. We're not going to be able to outrun it. It's doing something fucked up to the forest again. I think that it might just be our perception. Why? If something was that powerful, wouldn't it just kill us? Why even bother toying with us like this? It's just how they said Echo was during the hysteria. What happened then? Is that why you know so much about what's going on now? It's similar, but not the same. The land is bad around Echo. This thing is what's bad here. But why does it fit the records we had? The people and the places that had to die. People had to die? Maybe it's not just Echo, but anywhere that there's this kind of things. None of you are making any sense. Can you just fucking explain it to me? Bronson, can't you just think for yourself for once? Fuck off, Duke. Just because we have an idea what's happening doesn't mean that we have the answers. Give me something. There are records about the incident that ruined Echo. Records that have a pattern with disappearances and murders from then till now in the town. Like the hysteria thing Duke's grandpa talks about? The very same. I've never believed it. The days don't match up for him to be alive during it. Well, if time and space aren't making sense, and we're finding people by listening to their screams in the forest, does anything else make sense? That's why I'm so pissed. Things repeat, around Echo, around places and things like that. Whatever is killing us now is just another option, another dangling piece of fate that we pissed off by coming up here. How do we stop it then? How do you stop fate, Chip? Only God can do that. What? That was a weird thing for me to say. Trisha and Duke are both giving me an incredulous look. Miriam is backing away from me, taking back step after step. The tingling sensation on the back of my neck gets worse. I turn around expecting to see the thing following right behind us. But there's nothing. Just a darkened forest. Is something wrong? You don't talk about God like that, Chip. And you don't have a southern drawl. I didn't say anything weird. Miriam, why are you doing that? Is that thing back? The Gila had backed into a tree, paw still covering her mouth. You two didn't see that? Something over his shoulder? Something white? No. Is it still there? Duke reaches for the flashlight in his pocket, turning it on and scanning the area around me. There's nothing here. The horrid scraping noise returns again, this time directly above us, followed by Trisha's levitating a few inches off the ground. Trisha! What the fuck? The sheep rises higher in the air, higher and higher, about to enter the canopy line. Fuck, it hurts! The patterns on her fur beneath her clothes start to glow a sickly green, shining through the fabric of her pants and blouse. Trisha! Duke goes to pull her down, but the sheep jerks to the side rapidly, causing Duke to miss his jump and tumble to the ground. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Not her! The robes of the woman from earlier appear above us, blanketing the canopy. They start to expand, snuffing out the moonlight completely, seemingly stretching far across the horizon, farther than the forest itself, high in the air. Trisha flies closer as the light starts to bend and disappear from the sky, keeping us in almost pitch darkness. Except for Duke's flashlight. Point it up! Point it up! The weasel complies, panicking and trying to keep sight of Trisha, the terrible and horrid paw pokes through the darkness of the canopy coming into view with its gnarled and twisted branch-like look. Get your lights out! Miriam starts to fumble with the lantern, doing her best to get it on in case that we get separated. Make it stop! The paws above us snap in response. In an instant, the glowing lines around Trisha's body slice through the sheep, tearing her body into ribbons and showering us in an explosion of viscera and wool. Trisha screams echo only for a moment longer in the air. Trish! No! It's my turn to grab Miriam's paw and drag her away. Duke stays with us this time as we tumble through the blackened forest. We run for so long through the pitch-black forest that time ceases to mean anything, longer than my legs could give, longer than the power on the flashlight and lantern could last, longer than we could without food or water. But something drives us forward, something drives us long enough to make it. My thoughts fog and fold into themselves, twisting and turning for so long that nothing makes sense. Eventually we come to the stone bridge, the same one that leads to the waterfall. We all stop, out of breath and panting, our bodies trying to catch up on the impossibility of it all. What do we do? Let's cross it. It's been so long since there's been anything. It has to lead somewhere. What if it's a trap again? Like the arches? I don't see anything else we can do. Is there anything else over there? Anything the map showed? It only showed the camp property. Outside the path to the waterfall, it's federal land mixed with private property out there. It could be anything, especially things people wanted to keep under wraps. Should we go up the waterfall? It's a one-way trail. There's nowhere to escape to. Then we're headed into the forest, away from this shit where we can run then. We follow the weasel across the stone bridge. It looks more weathered than it used to, more broken down. like the time has taken a beating to it. We don't bother to test its strength this time, just crossing together without fear. There's no more left to give. We wandered through the open mountainside for hours. Duke's flashlight has died finally. We haven't had a chance to change the battery since that first night. I'm pretty sure my feet have blisters by now, but there's nothing to do but keep wandering. Keep moving. The three of us huddle together, keeping pace with the blank canvas in front of us. The hum starts to fade after some time, quieter to a dull sound in the back of our heads again, like it is an echo. Not the deafening roar of the forest. There still isn't any feral animals or insects chirping or buzzing away in the night, though. We stumble into the darkness for some time, unable to see a single thing past the light of the lantern, until the edges of a dilapidated cabin creep into the edge of the light. It's raised on a foundation on a small hill. A set of busted-out concrete stairs reaches to the front door. What is this? I have no idea where we are. My compass hasn't worked since we crossed a bridge. How convenient. Do we go in? This could be private property, or bootleggers or drug runners or anything else who wants to kill us. Even if they were hillbilly cannibals, I'd take them over that fucking thing. At least we could kill them then. I don't want to kill anyone. I just want to go home. We're almost out of this. Once the morning hits, everything should be over. You two are gonna have to explain this all to me when we get out of here. The three of us approach the door together, huddled around the lantern still. Do we knock? The Duke answers by shoving into the door, knocking it off its hinges and sending it tumbling to the ground. What if that thing is in there? Then we're going to die anyways. What if it's some psychos with a gun? Then we're gonna get shot, which looks better than getting sliced inside out. He has a point. Hey, is anyone in here? Duke yells out into the cabin. We're hurt and need some help. We don't want any trouble. There's no response. We step inside, finding nothing but ruined furniture and walls covered in dust. Moonlight filters in through the windows, illuminating through the inky blackness covering the canopy of trees still. At least where the glass remains intact, open or shattered windows allowing the pitch black from the outside. We can split up in here at least. Is that a good idea? We just need supplies, then we can get back together and get out of here. We're not gonna find anything here. They might have a sink hook up to the lake, or well water. Is that safe to drink? If we get some antibiotics soon, yeah. A bit of metals isn't gonna kill us before dehydration. Something about this building doesn't feel right. It isn't ancient or colonial. It's clearly Colombian built, with furniture and appliances strewn across the floor. But it feels like it's been empty for hundreds of years, longer than any non-native tribe would have left it. Doesn't this place feel older than Echo? Did people settle over here first? There could have been some trappers or hunters in the mountains before a full town moved into Echo or Peyton, or Coal Town, yeah. This could be older than Pueblo too. I just don't understand how there's so much everything everywhere. Give me the lantern. Duke holds out his paw. What? I'm gonna check the basement, where there aren't any windows to see through. You two stick together and check out the rest of this floor and upstairs while I see if there's anything stored downstairs. I don't think we should split up. Neither do I, but I don't want to go downstairs. Miriam passes the weasel the lantern. Duke turns and heads towards the open staircase just opposite the door. I'll yell if something happens. I guess I'll have to stumble around in the dark for you then. You always do save my place, don't you, Bronson? I always will, Tibbets. The weasel smiles his confident smile, the same one that he showed me when we won our last homecoming football game. The same one that he gave me when we set off on this trip. No, wait. Miriam reaches out one of her paws out to Duke's shoulder. We're coming with you. We shouldn't separate. It's not fair. Here I was trying to make a heroic sacrifice for you two, and now you're ruining the whole thing. That's not what I meant. The Gilla's face flushes crimson. He's messing with you more. I knew that. What made you change your mind? Thought you didn't like this sort of spooky stuff. Everything we've been through today. I feel like I could have went differently if I stepped up, if I took accountability and worked with everyone. You can't blame yourself for some fucked up shit in the forest. If there's anything older than Echo around here, it's this fucking mountain. Just because it isn't my fault doesn't mean that I couldn't have made things better. It might still be too late for the others, but not for us, Duke. If it's so dangerous, why are we checking out the basement first? Whatever that thing is, it controls our perception. It's messing with our heads, like what happened in Echo. If it's making the basement look more dangerous with the darkness, then I think that's where we need to go. I just figured any food or water storage would survive longer down below. I could eat just about anything right now. Now you sound like Dale. I'm surprised that Duke saying his name doesn't make me sad. It's not apathy at the very least, whatever I'm feeling. You're an idiot, Duke. I say it with a smile on my face. Now you sound like Trish. That brings a smile to my face. Let's get going. We can reminisce about everyone when we're back home. Miriam takes the lantern back from Duke and leads us into the basement. The darkness isn't any different from the outside, the lantern illuminating just around us in the same circle. The first steps are the hardest and I almost trip on the last step down, Duke catching me at the last second. Don't go being all clumsy on us now, Bronson. Sorry, I don't know what's got me all flustered. Miriam looks at me. She holds her gaze for a few seconds before her eyes flick to above me for a half second. Something evil is down here. Something that's strong enough to scare ghosts. The back of my neck prickles. Then let's find it. Maybe it's just as scared and trying to keep us away. The logic isn't working out in my head, but I guess that's why Duke and Miriam usually make the decisions. We make our way further into the basement. It becomes clear very fast that it isn't normal down here. After leaving the wall from the stairs, the room seems to expand in every direction. There is nothing but dusty dirt floors and junk thrown about. Shelves and garbage litter the floor in random piles. Broken furniture and photoless picture frames stain the earth with glass and shards of wood. It's slow going, making sure that we don't cut our feet on the way, but the light of the lantern keeps us huddled and close anyways. I want to speak out and say that this doesn't make sense, and we should try to head back. But with the open layout and complete lack of visibility after the light of the lantern, I don't know if it's even possible to find back. My compass still isn't working down here. It's just spinning back and forth. Figures. We must be getting close then. What are we looking for down here? I don't know if I can just go for another endless hike again. At least it was flat down here. Well, besides food and water, information, papers, records, letters, anything that tells us what's happening. Why would that be here? I'm starting to feel like we didn't stumble on this cabin by accident. We were just wandering in the darkness, though. The unnatural, complete darkness that swallows the light from the moon. I've been meaning to ask, you guys don't seem so freaked out about all the supernatural stuff that's been happening, even after it killed our friends. We haven't had a time to bring it up. I feel like we've just been running since we found everyone, but it isn't right. It feels like actual magic is happening, and that's almost as scary as watching everyone die. At least when someone bleeds out, you know why. At least when I'm not strong enough, I can exactly what I did wrong. Magic's real. Always has been. I don't know if I'd call it magic. Maybe something that science hasn't explained yet, but it's something that I believe almost my whole life. Even though you're a Mormon, my pa says that kind of stuff is wicked and shouldn't even be messed with. I think half the stuff John Smith did could only be described as magic. There's too many coincidences for this to be surprising for me. I'm sure if I know the story, then Miriam does too. I read the records of it, once outside of Echo too, that I was able to find in the occult section at Pueblo too. I wouldn't even think schools have that sort of stuff. Most of it is for cultural references. A lot of it is mixed in with bogus shit too. My world feels a lot smaller than it already did. Over here. There is a tugging sensation on my right paw, pulling me towards a random pile of broken furniture. The voice is clearer here. I can tell that it's a man now. It's so familiar too. What are you doing, Chip? I'm at the end of the lantern light, trying to will myself into the darkness. Over here. There's something here. Now, this is interesting. Miriam complies. It wouldn't make sense for her to not after we just finished talking about magic after all. How do you know? I kneel down and start digging through the wood. There's darkness here. Tangible darkness. A secret. My mouth moves without my brain telling it to. Now, why did you develop a southern drawl all of a sudden, Bronson? I thought you looked familiar. Whatever ghost is in him must be from the southern states. I had a feeling that it was something like that. Tell me, can you see it? You're a Moor, after all. Miriam doesn't respond. Here it is. My paws bring the remains of a broken drawer shelved to the group. There is a heavy stack of papers in it. Duke starts to rifle through them. Well, I'll be damned. It is some sort of magic. What are you talking about? It's records from Pueblo, from when it was first founded. There were people in these hills, before the trappers and the colonists, before the native tribes in the region. How did they know that? They probably just asked them. Oh, apparently it was a group of shamans, or people practicing disappearances or hallucinations in the hills, and the group who built this place were trying to get to the bottom of it. To stop it? Duke shuffles a few more papers. To recreate it. The silence of the forest continues to haunt us. Somewhere on this mountain is the same kind of old as Echo, and these people wanted to learn more? Looks like they did. But it needed... it needs blood. Sacrifices, rituals. A cult? You feed the earth and it rewards you. Is that what happened to our friends? Is there anything else there? Nothing important. Nothing more than the records of their trip up here. Is there anything on this house? Duke shuffles through the last pages. This is where they set up. This house was built by the people hunting the shamans. Or its future practitioners. What gives you that idea? That's what happens in the type of pulp fiction from the First Great War. Normally I'd slap you on the side of your head for bringing up fake shit into this, but after everything tonight, it makes sense. Hey, take a look at this. Miriam slows her compass, now slowly starting to orient itself in a specific direction, swinging slower and slower to a point from uselessly spinning in circles. So what if it's just north? The needle rocks back and forth like a pendulum, slowly getting more and more to a point. It's pointing us where we need to go. I think Chip is right. There's a first for everything. We follow the compass for some time, the darkness ever nipping at the edges of the lantern, until coming to a door standing upright by itself in the ground. What the hell? It isn't broken like everything else here. Miriam walks to the other side of it, her compass outstretched in her paw. The needle spins back around, pointing at the door as Miriam passes it. I think this is it, boys. She knocks against the wood. It's not gonna fall over, at least. Seems like it's actually there too. Do we just open it? Duke responds by grabbing the handle and pulling it, not waiting for a response from anyone else. A void of darkness that the lantern's light doesn't penetrate stands behind the threshold. Should we think about this more? Give me your paw. Duke reaches out and grabs my paw with his, interlocking our fingers. What are you doing? Miriam grabs Duke's other paw, the three of us standing side by side in front of the door now. Come on, let's get this over with. The weasel starts to walk forwards towards the opening. Miriam, say something. This is crazy. Just keep moving, Chip. It's the only way. Miriam and I walk through at the same time, backs pressed against each other as we shimmy through the opening. The darkness takes us. My paw tightens around the pair as we're flung into the abyss, only to come crashing down a second later. Ouch! What the fuck did we fall on? There is a moonlight filtering in from the window, cleared of the inky blackness surrounding us from a nearby hallway. We're in some kind of study, a desk and a few chairs being the only furniture outside of the bookcases lining a far wall. Wooden floorboards beneath us creak under our combined weight as the three of us get up from the floor. The door that we had just walked through lies completely flush with the floorboards. Flickers of the basement laid out at a perfect 90-degree angle from us sit through the entranceway. What the fuck? Just close it. Don't think about it. Duke slams the door shut, the hinges creaking against the wooden beams beneath our paws. Are we in the same house? Duke goes to look out the window, behind the desk. There's just darkness through the glass, like the rest of the forest. Miriam turns off the lantern, the moonlight illuminating enough of the surroundings. Let's look around while we try to get our bearings. The three of us set off in different directions of the room, shuffling through the paperwork and the old books. I fumble with the drawer, finding cabinets and knobs stuck or locked as my paw pulls on them. Maybe there's a key or something lying around? Duke picks up a nearby chair, bringing it above his head. He brings it down over the center of the desk, both shattering and splintering into pieces from the impact. Not putting up with that shit. That made so much fucking noise, Duke. There, look, we found something. A little black book. Duke pulls the aforementioned book from the rubble, most of the desk having been empty. It seems convenient that we're just stumbling across stuff like this, back to back. It's part of the game. If we don't know anything, then it's just confusing. That thing must work off the unknown. We can break its magic with finding more. Shouldn't it just burn the damn paper then? That would be cheating. Duke's smile is wide and toothy. Let's figure out what we're dealing with finally. We flip through the scrawled notes and frayed edges, the book looking older than modern paper. It details about the rituals and commotions the cult has with its god. Pain, humiliation, and sealing. Physical pain makes it stronger. It connects the priestesses with the patron. The more pain, the deeper the connection. Humiliation, psychological pain. It gives the priestesses more energy and more reserves to channel the power. Sealing, dense fur filled with life, essence protects the priestesses from the darkness. Isn't this Indian magic? Why is it using those kind of words? This was probably written by the group who joined, the men who built the cabin. They took everyone and did the barbaric shit to them to make her stronger. They strengthened the witch, brought her closer to connecting to the old thing here. Why though? Why was it us? Why our friends? What are they trying to do? Duke continues to flick through the book. Did we even stop anything? If this really is some powerful god or something, do we have any hope? It can't be that bad. It can't be worse than Echo. These people figured out how to talk to it, to make it give them what they want. Doesn't the hysteria just happen? Didn't it just ruin everything? Here's hope. Look here. Duke points to the passage that he's at. Every time the witch casts a spell, she gets weaker. They only have so much fuel in the tank. And what she did in the forest and the night sky. Real magic. But she's got to be running low by now. They didn't die for nothing. What about Janice? What did she die for? Nothing mentioned having to kill people, and she didn't look like she was hurt like the others. I think she was just a bait to get us all the way out here like this. My world slows and spins. It really is all some kind of game, huh? Duke walks away from the desk towards a hallway, book in hand. At least she doesn't have any spells left. Guess that's why we're not dead yet. Where are you going? Maybe we can just walk through the darkness. Maybe we can just get out of here. He turns to look at the two of us. Maybe it's almost over? The weight of everything crushes my spirit more and more. Magic is real. My friends were tortured for some kind of satanic ritual, and Janice died just to get me to look for more witchcraft. We don't know if she's actually out there, and if making us feel bad gives her more reach, then that explains why we've been strung along and freaked out. Maybe it's all just to build tension to give her another spell? I just want to die. Don't be stupid. The three of us are stronger than that, and that's why we didn't end up strung up like the rest. Please, just make it stop. You'll deserve this. What do we do then? Hope and pray? We might. If negative emotions fuel it, maybe positive ones hurt it. I deserve this. What are you talking about? The ghost. The witch knows it's on Chip. It knows it feeds on his emotions. Oh, fuck. A strong and single slash of the paw crashes through Duke's chest. The long and sharp claws of the witch pierce his heart, the organ still pumping as it sits skewered through the weasel. He's held up by the arm, going through him. The robed figure stands behind Duke, its frame causing it to kneel down from the ceiling in the hallway. The static blares through my head, louder than ever before. Bronson. Duke manages to squeak out on his last bloody breath before going limp on the witch's arm. Shit, that wasn't me. Not on purpose. It took my voice in your ear. I'm sorry. The witch screams, its face and figure hidden by the darkness and robes as it scrambles into the room, trapping us inside. I back up into the wall, standing side by side with Miriam. It's in full view, its form and figure laid before us. It's desperate. It needs to end this, and it doesn't have time to waste. Morning is gonna happen soon. That's right. It didn't use magic to kill Duke. It just stabbed him. It used me, though. It used my fear and doubt for an opening. We can't fight it head on. We can't just rush it. My paw reaches out for Miriam's. She takes it, a warm and full feeling radiating from the touch. This is it. This is the key to freedom. What we've been looking for. What? Let your emotions go, Chip. Stay right here and let them run through you. That's just gonna make it stronger. Not your negative ones. The ones you bottle up and hide. What else is left after tonight? She squeezes my paw. Love. The witch reaches for us as light starts to swirl and mix around us. We have to make it. We have to hold on and not move. Everything relies on this, Chip. Everything relies on this. I let my mental guard go. I give more than I have ever dreamed of before. My love for Janice. My love for Dale. I think about the times that we shared, the moments of bliss and happiness Janice and I gave each other. I think about the comfort and hope Dale showed me, about the closeness that we shared, about how similar we were deep down. I think about friendship and the love Trisha and Ernesto shared with me, about how the sheep's life was spent trying to spend more time with her friends, about the care and sincerity in her actions. How Ernesto melted into our friend group, like he should be there in our lives, like he was destined to come back and be the missing link in our lives to tie us together. About the new love Miriam and I shared. About the physical touch and warmth that we shared, even if it was new, even if she said that she wasn't going to make it serious. I could feel her. Some part of her was interested, and it was here now, coursing through my blood, shining a beacon of light in this room. I think about everyone who cared about me, about the swirling masquerade of time and emotions at the end, how every choice happened at the same time, yet didn't happen, how my life is a shell of what it should have been, and the only thing left is their memories seared into me. And as long as I hold on to that idea of what it meant, what it was supposed to be, then I can keep going, even in this scattered and fragmented existence, that I too was loved and a part of someone's real story. It's enough for the both of us, and it's more than the witch can handle. The witch screams, the light surrounding Miriam and I burning brighter than the lantern ever did. It tries to cover her face, keeping us from seeing the truth. The ugliness and twisted form of nightmares and pain carved into every part of it. It makes me feel pity for it, about how it was once a person, but it's long traded that away. Just because I'm gone doesn't mean you're out of this yet. It crumbles, shrinking to the size of a normal person. Its fur is gone, its ears cut and features scarred and disfigured. I can't tell what its species is supposed to be anymore. There's always others to carry on our work. The witch's body starts to dissolve. Burns and flakes of ash flow into the air, blown by some unseen wind. Before long, there is nothing left. Light starts to shine through the cracks of the door in the floor, piercing and burning away the darkness of the study. What just happened? Come on, the daylight's coming. We should see it. Miriam reaches and opens the door. A hill stretches out before us, tilted at a 90-degree angle from where we're standing. Take my paw and we'll jump, okay? I take her paw and we jump through together. We land at our feet, upright. The door behind us fades like the witch did, only the soft ground of a hill sits beneath. We're still in the mountains, the sun just starting to crest the far hill. Miriam walks me to the edge of the overlook. A few signs and benches sit around us. This is the end of the other hiking trail, the one that doesn't go to the waterfall. So, we're back? The sun starts to crest the far mountain, shining the valley and hill in light. We never left Bronson. Miriam leans against me as we look over the horizon. Did all of that really happen? I think so. The sound of the insects in the wind filters through my ears. So, you do love me? The Gila blushes and laughs. Maybe not like that. But who knows? Maybe it'll work out. Guess it's just us now, huh? We'll have the time to figure it out. A trail of black smoke rises from the distance. I think that's coming from camp. Is it a forest fire? Some idiot must have lit it. There hasn't been any lightning. Do you think that it was a cult? Let's not stick around and find out, yeah? Yeah. We take the moment of peace together for a few more minutes. We ignore the black stain still spreading on the horizon. So, I guess that was the good ending? I say good ending because there is a good, neutral, and bad ending for most of these characters. So here's to hoping that it was a good ending. So I had in mind when I was reading this, like, oh, this reminds me of a certain thing, but I forgot what it was now. Part of me thought that the witch was actually going to be Janice. And that it was like, oh, we turned Janice into the witch. And everyone else was just sort of like the offerings, the sacrifices, but... But yeah. I kind of feel like I should have read this one last. And I should have read Ernesto before I read Miriam. Because it kind of feels like it's all coming sort of like full circle in a way. Where Trisha, Miriam, and Duke all more or less know what's going on. And they're all like, look, okay guys, we know something is going on. We have to survive the night, etc., and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, people die, but yeah. And it kind of feels like everyone is more cognizant of the fact that the bad stuff is happening. And, like, we need to do something about it. And we also knew that it was going to happen. So yeah. I wonder what the Ernesto route is going to be like. Huh. I am curious if it all is like connected. Also, before I forget, the fact that Samuel was showing up and like, yeah, the voice that is in spoilers, the voice that is inside of Chip Bronson is Samuel Ayers because he runs him over. And because when you die an echo, you become a echo that the town uses to, like, you know, torment people. And he's the one that like possessed Chip Bronson, and who eventually goes to possess Sydney Bronson after it forces Sydney to accidentally shoot his own father. And then from there it jumps over to the Chunter after the whole lake incident. But yeah. But like I said, I am curious how it's all connected, and all the little like, oh, there she is. All the little like weird things that pop up in everyone's like route were like, oh, there's this like weird thing, and you know, we'll investigate it later, and then like the bad stuff happens. Or like, I wonder who set this up. Bad stuff happens. So there's never any time for any of them to really investigate what's going on. They just know that there is something bad happening, but there is something else happening. It isn't just the lake monster, the shape, by the shape I'm referring to Michael Myers. What was it for the Genesis route? I forgot already. It wasn't the cannibals. It wasn't whatever happens in Genesis route. I forgot what it was already. What is in Genesis route? What is Genesis route? Oh no, the Genesis route is a lake monster, right? Oh no, it's the Friday the 13th monster for Genesis route. It's Michael Myers for Trisha, and it's the creature from the Black Lagoon for Dale. It's the cannibal people for Duke, and it's the cult with the witch for Miriam. So I wonder what Ernesto is gonna have to deal with. Well, I say Ernesto, but I mean like Chip and Ernesto. I did for a moment there think like, oh, we rescued like 4 out of 5 people. Does that mean that they get to survive? Like, nope, they just die. But yeah, that sucked. That really sucked. That like we couldn't like get them to survive. And then like Dale gets turned inside out. Ernesto is like, I think it's supposed to be like the bile, like the stomach acid, but like cranked up to 11 where it just like burns him away. And with Duke, it was actually kind of obvious because he was just there, but he had like blood coming out of his mouth, so it probably was like a bleeding or something from inside or something like that. So it's like, oh, it pierced his heart, so that's where it was coming from. With Trisha, I guess Trisha's was a little bit more like, I mean, like it like tore her apart from the lines. I guess that made sense in a way, or I didn't see like how that was gonna work out, but I guess that was all bad how they all died. I think this was the most gruesome one because you're actively seeing them all die there. And even though in some of them they're like getting like slashed or they're getting like knives through their head or something like that, this one is like inside out. Digested. Split apart. And Duke is the only one that's like your heart. And that's it. But yeah, I mean, no, yeah, but that, I guess Janice is the only one that kind of got off scot-free. They were like, what can we do with this girl? They're like, well, I mean, we already, her boyfriend's already sort of like with the Gila, so that there really isn't anything that we can like mess with her. Like do to her to mess with her anymore. She's like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna die. Anyways. Anywho, so like, write down in the comments what you thought so far of, well, not so far, what you thought of the Miriam route. And yeah, leave it in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Camp Ash yourself and then, you know, jump over to the Ernesto route, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download and play the game yourself. They do not have any form of support, so there is no link for that. But like, if there ever was, you know, you have a future in writing, you know, you could just make your own original characters. You know, it doesn't have to be related to the Echo cast, but it could be set in the Echo universe. I think, you know, I don't think that that would be bad. Like it was explained in Arches. Oh, that was another callback thing. Arches. There was a whole bunch of arches in the forest. Oh, the Blair Witch. That's what it reminded me of. The Blair Witch, because when they were talking about the effigies and things like that, oh, the Blair Witch. What was I saying? Oh yeah, arches? Arches? Oh, yeah, arches. When they were explaining it arches in the story, they were saying that there was a lot of places all over the world that have that sort of type of energy where bad things happened, or maybe even sometimes good things, because technically speaking, Glory Hounds, the original story, the original pitch, was connected to Echo, the mainline story, and the Smoke Room when it was still part of the Echo canon. And the thing that was providing these heroes and people with heroism and stuff like that was sort of like a good version of what is underneath Echo. But it would feed off of that. But they decided to go with something else completely different. So yeah, like you could have things going on in the world that is set within the world of Echo, just not Echo. Which, I mean, technically it is what this story is. It just happens to be set in a mountain with some weird shit happening. But yeah, anyways. What was I saying? Oh yeah. If you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member and you get earlier access to these videos as they're being scheduled. So yeah, like, you know, to say like, hey, I like your videos. Money, I go, yay, thank you. Videos, watch them before everyone else. And if you can't do that, there is Ko-fi, in case you want to support through there. And there is a throne, in case you're feeling overly generous. Yeah, anyways. I guess that's it, and I will see you guys in the next part in Ernesto. And technically, Ernesto is not the last route. There is one more after him. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Too bad you can't see my mouse and, you know, you see what I'm circling. Anyways, but yeah, so I will see you later, I guess. Whatever. Good night.